So I'm going to go through the process of getting fit here at GOLFTEC. Talk me through a little bit about the process. What are we going to do?
Yeah, absolutely. So we would start off just cataloging your current set of clubs, just to get an idea of what you have. So we would get, different lofts, different lie angles, lengths, all that type of stuff. Walk you through all that, just have you be there during that process so that you can kind of see how that goes.
So that's static. You're measuring. That's not me hitting. You would be measuring the club.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah, cool. We just want to get an idea of what you currently have just to see if that's even remotely kind of what you need. So that gives us an idea if there's any issues as far as like the lengths don't match up or there's lofts that are maybe 1 or 2 degrees different. I see that a lot with students who say, I hit my 8-iron exactly the same distance as my 7-iron.
Perfect.
And you find out that the lofts are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
So doing something before a fitting where you can get some information is super important.
Yeah.
So we start with that, and then we would have you test your current clubs actually hitting some shots.
Okay.
So we would get some data from there, figure out exactly what the ball's doing, what the spin rates are, launch angles, all those types of things.
Yeah.
Talk through the student with what we're seeing on the launch monitor, just to give them some education as far as like what we're actually looking at.
Okay.
And then we would use our TECFit software as a way to show them some gauges and give them an idea of where the optimal ranges should be.
Fantastic.
And then from there we would just test some new stuff to see what's better or what we need to change, and we would alter the different club heads, change potentially the lofts, different shafts, anything that we need to do to make that happen. We test 3 of those and then figure out which one works the best.
Perfect. So I'm interested in seeing that software. So we've got 2 clubs. I haven't got my clubs with me, so we've got one that kind of represents my club and one that's quite a long way away. I'll hit some shots. Perfect. And you'll show me hopefully how it's highlighted on the software that might have the wrong to the right.
Sure.
Let's do it.
Totally good.
How many shots would you need on there for the data to show?
Typically we would want 4.
Yeah.
4 pretty decently struck shots.
With each club.
Yep.
So I've hit shots with 2 quite contrasting clubs, one close to mine and one not what I would normally game. That's not manufactured, that was more setup biased, I would say. Talk me through what we got.
Yeah, so Test Club 1, that was the one that was pretty similar to what you currently play. So that's kind of what I'd call your gamer, right?
Yeah.
It was a Callaway AI Smoke. It's a 9-degree. It had a 50-gram stiff shaft. That's what you told me you have.
Yeah.
So these numbers are probably pretty indicative of what you typically see with a driver.
Yeah, slightly low here, but it would be more shots captured and more variation, but they are very much my numbers. Not quite to speed, a little bit jet lagged.
It's still early.
Can we not put a jet lag filter on?
Well, there should be that. We should have that setting in SkyTrack.
2 to 3 mile an hour extra on that ball speed if I wasn't jet lagged.
There we go. No, what I really like about all this, I mean, just looking at your current driver, if this was what you were playing, like you've got a backspin number that's really close to 2,000, so it's pretty much set right in there in the green range.
Yeah.
Your launch angle's right around 13. That's what we tell all of our coaches to look for in a driver fitting, is a launch of 13, so that's awesome. And then we've got a descent angle that's just a hair on the low side. You're at 33 degrees. Ideally, I'd want 35, but again, these 2 are really good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry that much about that one, especially when you're hitting drives that are right around 300
With
yards.
that ball speed, I don't mind it trying to run a little bit up that fairway.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. That's totally fine. So then we had another model down here that we tested that was very different than what you typically play. So this was a Titleist, the TSR3. We did an 8-degree head. We did a very heavy extra stiff shaft. It was an 80-gram extra stiff. So your ball speed didn't change much, but what we would probably expect with that driver is lower spin and lower launch.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we saw. So your backspin dropped by about 200 RPMs. Your launch angle went down by 4 degrees, 3.5 degrees. So that's going to sacrifice a ton of distance for you.
100%. It's just falling out the air. The other thing as well, which is interesting, which it is picking up, I do like this, is that I respond. So I am getting these ball speeds should be slightly different, as in if I hit 50 or 100 of each one of them, you would see me responding to that heavier shaft in a negative way. I'd be fatiguing quicker.
Absolutely.
But 4 or 5 or 10 shots with each, I'm able to see the numbers and think, oh, I'm just going to maybe. So swing speeds on these probably aren't equivalent because I'm probably punching on this one and coasting on this one.
Yeah, totally agree. And that's why, I mean, when we're doing any fitting with whether it's a student or just somebody coming in for a club fitting off the street, like it's really important to not only just test statically, measure things statically, but test dynamically. Like we talked about, you have a driver that's 9 degrees. I put you in something a little lower loft, a little heavier, a little stiffer, and you're like, I'll adjust to this over time. Well, that's why I want to test it, because I want to see what what happens as you do that.
And also what I love about this, obviously it's very software driven, but the human element's there as well, because you're there.
Correct.
You're going to be asking the right questions to find out if I am responding, and then in theory you would have some triggers to try and turn that off a little bit. You would try and get most out of that customer, student, pupil, whatever you want to call it.
Absolutely, and it makes it to where there's that relationship to where we can talk about what makes the most sense as far as manufacturer, what makes the most sense as far as the shaft, what do you like the look of, what do you not like the look of.
Yeah.
Like that's a conversation that you should be having during a fitting, and if you're not, then you're kind of missing something.
Yeah, 100%, love it. Just, we need a Strixon next time, please.
We'll get it up there. We'll add the jet lag button in there as well.
Excellent. Fantastic. Thanks for your time. Really enjoyed that. What I like is that combination, as we said there, of like it's tech driven but with the human element as well. I think that's so important, certainly for me. You know, I want someone driving the tech who's a professional, knows what they're doing. But obviously as well, what the tech does is it just explains everything so simply.
Yep.
Things that you would take a long time explaining to pupils, where you can literally with the graphics show them straight away where the gains and the losses are happening. Brilliant. Really enjoyed that.